Imagine waking up tomorrow, opening your curtains, and seeing a Triceratops eating your neighbor's hedge like it paid rent. Not a statue, not a movie prop, a real dinosaur, chewing slowly, judging your neighborhood landscaping with ancient confidence. At first, nobody believes it. Someone posts a blurry video online. The caption says, "Big cow with horns." The internet argues for 3 minutes, then a tea. Rex walks past a gas station, and suddenly everyone becomes a dinosaur expert. Schools close instantly, not because children are in danger, because every kid refuses to learn fractions while a Stegosaurus is blocking the bus lane. Teachers try to stay calm. One teacher says, "Class, this is a historic scientific event." Then a velociraptor opens the supply closet, and the teacher decides history can wait. The first big mistake would be thinking dinosaurs are monsters. They are not monsters. They are animals. Very big, very confused animals. Imagine falling asleep in the Cretaceous period and waking up beside a shopping mall. You would also scream, run into traffic, and maybe attack a vending machine. That is level 1 of the chaos. Confusion. Dinosaurs do not understand roads, buildings, sirens, glass doors, or why tiny mammals keep pointing rectangles at them. A Brachiosaurus would see a city skyline and think, finally, tall trees. Then it would try to eat a telephone pole and immediately regret electricity. Farmers would panic first. Cows are already dramatic enough. Now imagine protecting a cornfield from a herd of hungry duck-billed dinosaurs. One hadrosaur could eat your harvest, your fence, and the scarecrow's self-esteem before breakfast. Supermarkets would become comedy disasters. People would rush to buy canned food, bottled water, and somehow toilet paper, because humans face every apocalypse by preparing for bathroom emergencies. Meanwhile, herbivorous dinosaurs would be outside eating decorative palm trees like salad sticks. Then comes level 2, infrastructure collapse. A dinosaur does not need to be angry to destroy things. An elephant can damage a car by leaning on it. Now scale that problem up until the elephant has a tail, like a wrecking ball, and feet the size of dinner tables. Roads would crack. Bridges would be tested in ways engineers never expected. Traffic signs would become chew toys. Airports would shut down if a pterosaur landed on the runway, even though technically pterosaurs are not dinosaurs. Try explaining that to a pilot while a flying reptile stares through the windshield. Zoos would receive thousands of calls. Everyone would ask the same question. Can you handle dinosaurs? The zoo staff would politely say, "Sir, but we have trouble convincing one panda to cooperate." Then someone would ask if the T-Rex can be put in the lion enclosure. The lions would immediately file a complaint. But the scariest part is not the biggest dinosaurs. It is the fast ones. Humans are emotionally unprepared for anything chicken-shaped that can outrun us. Small theropods would cause absolute panic, would sprint through a shopping center, and every adult would suddenly remember they are not the main character. Level 3 begins when ecosystems start changing. Dinosaurs would not just appear. They would eat, move, nest, compete, and reproduce. Some plants would be destroyed. Some animals would be pushed out. Predators would follow prey, and humans would learn a painful lesson. Nature does not care about parking permits. A single large herbivore herd could reshape forests. They would break branches, strip leaves, trample young trees, and create open spaces. That might help some species and hurt others. Nature is complicated. It is not a cartoon where the animals sing and recycle. Predators would create even bigger problems. A T-Rex probably would not spend all day chasing people. Humans are small, bony, noisy snacks with weird shoes. But if a T-Rex discovered livestock, garbage dumps, or food warehouses, congratulations, you just invented a dinosaur buffet. Governments would have emergency meetings. Scientists would beg everyone not to shoot first. Military leaders would ask how to contain animals that do not respect borders. Politicians would promise calm while clearly standing nowhere near windows. And then social media would make everything worse. Influencers would try taking selfies with baby dinosaurs. Someone would start a trend called Raptor Challenge. Hospitals would release the official medical warning. Please stop trying to hug ancient reptiles for likes. At level 4, humanity would finally realize the real problem is not survival. It is management. We can survive a dinosaur appearing. cannot survive millions of people making terrible decisions around dinosaurs. Cities would create dinosaur response teams, not monster hunters, more like wildlife officers, with helicopters, tranquilizers, drones, and stress headaches. New warning signs would appear. Do not feed the Ankylosaurus. Someone would feed it anyway. It would follow them home like a tank with feelings. Insurance companies would invent new clauses overnight. Your policy covers fire, flood, theft, and minor dinosaur nibbling, but not full tail impact. Lawyers would become extremely rich. One courtroom would seriously debate whether a Stegosaurus counts as an act of nature or an unpaid demolition contractor. Schools would reopen eventually. Biology class would become the greatest subject on Earth. Students would stop asking, "Will this be useful?" because the lesson might literally explain why a carnivore is staring at the cafeteria. Science teachers would walk in like superheroes. But here is the educational twist. The biggest danger would be our outdated imagination. We picture dinosaurs as movie villains, roaring every 8 seconds. Real animals do not behave like that. They conserve energy. They avoid injury. They look for food, safety, mates, and territory. Basically, dinosaurs would be like wildlife, except your wildlife can accidentally flatten a bus. Peak chaos would happen when humans try to control them too fast. Build walls, trap them, move them, weaponize them, sell tickets, make dinosaur parks. You already know someone would say, "What if we open a theme park?" And every scientist on Earth would whisper, "Have we learned nothing?" A dinosaur park sounds fun until one bored herbivore sits on the electric fence. Then everyone discovers that emergency exits were designed for humans, not screaming crowds running from a prehistoric vegetarian shaped like a building. So what should we actually do? First, stop panicking. Second, stop treating dinosaurs like dragons. Third, study them like wildlife. Track their movements, protect human settlements, create huge reserves, keep food sources away from cities, teach people safe behavior. And most importantly, never trust a smiling billionaire who says, "The park is completely secure." Could dinosaurs really return tomorrow? Not naturally. The non-bird dinosaurs disappeared about 66 million years ago. Birds are their living descendants, which means technically dinosaurs already survived. So when you eat chicken nuggets, you are eating the tiny, crispy legacy of an ancient empire. That is either science or the weirdest menu fact ever. Cloning classic dinosaurs is also not simple. DNA breaks down over time. After millions of years, it is usually far too damaged. We are much closer to studying fossils, birds, and genetics than rebuilding a perfect T-Rex. So no, your city probably will not need a raptor-proof balcony this week. But the thought experiment teaches something useful. Humans often fear the monster while ignoring the system. A dinosaur would be dangerous, yes. But panic, greed, bad planning, and viral stupidity would be even more dangerous. If dinosaurs suddenly returned, Earth would not become a movie overnight. It would become a test. Could we stay curious instead of reckless? Could we protect life without turning it into entertainment? Could we admit that nature is bigger, older, and much less impressed by us than we think? And somewhere, at sunrise, a giant long-necked dinosaur would calmly chew the top of a tree. Millions of humans scream online. The dinosaur would not understand the drama. It would just blink slowly, swallow a branch, and continue living like the planet had always belonged to creatures who knew how to take up space.